Hi, folks.
Hi.
Hello.
I've seen the first two episodes, just to let you know. Excellent show. I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you.
It gets better.
So the scope of the show is obviously immense. The sets, the costumes, the fight scenes. What were the most difficult challenges for you all in filming this series?
Well, I guess the first major obstacle was how to. This is based on a collection, on a 12-volume historical novel, and which covers an enormous territory. So the first challenge was how to distill that into a visual format, whether it's a film or two films, or in the end, it turned into the best way was, we thought, a 10-part series. That process took several years. Then came the usual producer's nightmare, which is to assemble the financing. And in this case, it was extremely ambitious, as you have seen some of it. It gets even more so as they keep going. And we wanted, I was determined to make this on a large scale and not to cut corners, and to make it so that it was not only historically authentic, but lavishly entertaining and at par with what worldwide audiences are accustomed to. So that was the next challenge, is the boring part. And then the more exciting part is, finding the actors who are the only ones that the audience ever sees and cares about, who will breathe life into these characters on the page and add their own personality and ideas to it, and bring them alive and turn them into flesh and blood. And that part, that's really the fun part, when it works. And in this case, I think it worked. It took a long time. Some of the actors had to audition for a year or more, including Gellert. But I think we hit the mark. So I think in this case, and to me, ultimately, the casting becomes the most important part, at least in my mind, for me. If you miss that, then the rest doesn't matter, if you don't get that right. So let me pass the torch on to those who made it all happen for real, for the audience.
Yeah, it was challenging, but I love challenges. So many of us have to learn foreign languages. For example, I had to learn Turkish. I have to learn Serbian as a native. I mean, only my lines, of course, but I was really dedicated to this work, and then I was having a blast. It was really fantastic to learn lines in a different language. So. But yeah, so I just love the whole process. We had to learn how to ride horses, especially for Gellert, but I also had to learn riding the horses, and there are many challenges because the story is really demanding. It needs a lot of skills and a lot of dedication and devotion. And but I think the script and the story is totally worth it. So I think an actor immediately can feel when something is worth to make sacrifices, and this story is typically a kind of story.
For me, it was also an incredible experience and also a huge challenge, because the scale of the production was much bigger than anything worked on before. There were days when we were shooting in extreme heat or freezing cold, wearing armor and carrying shields and swords, and sometimes it was physically demanding, and you could feel completely drained by the end of the day. But I see every difficulty was a change to grow both as an actor and as a person too, because this project pushed me to new challenges and yes, helping me grow. I had the opportunity to learn horseback riding from scratch. It was a wonderful feeling. I had the opportunity to fight with swords, axes, and so on. So, and I had the opportunity to speak many different languages. In example, Croatian, Serbian, which I found the hardest, and
Me too.
which several language.
It was for me too, yeah.
Yeah.
Turkish was easier for me, much more. I don't know why.
Yeah, but I think I'm very grateful for this experience, and yes.
I come in on episode 3, and I remember I arrived in Budapest in my first or second day. It was also like kind of
Yeah.
like the beginning for you, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah.
We had, and I had never met Gellert before, and we had like our love scene, and then we needed to have this chemistry. So that was always like, as an actor, you're scared and you don't know what it's going to be like. And I understood right away that I was very lucky because everyone was incredibly respectful and kind and open and just very professional to and so it was wonderful to work with, like, such kind people, and it doesn't happen all the time. And I also think that another challenge was probably how tall you were because they had to give me those like super tall like
Yeah.
platform heels, and once every like 3 steps I would kind of like like my ankle was like, yeah, so that could have been a challenge. but yeah, we
It
met.
doesn't happen to me many times that I have to wear heels, high heels for
Yeah, I know.
for an actor, yeah, because I'm
I know.
quite tall as compared to the other actresses, yeah.
So,
Weight was
looking-
flat.
okay, sorry. So looking back on this project, besides doing the press now, of course, how do you feel it has changed you all, both personally and professionally?
Yeah, I learned so many things about myself, and as an actor, I'm so grateful for my profession because you learn always something about yourself, about the character. It improves you. Of course, sometimes you have to make sacrifices for those roles and for this profession, but in the end of the day, it's always worth, I think. Yeah.
Well, let me say something. For me, the learning experience here is, I was born in Hungary, but I've lived most of my life in the West, in Canada. And I have never shot in Hungarian until now. I have shot in Hungary before, for various reasons. So sometimes for economics, sometimes location settings, but always in English with British or American actors. So to finally get an opportunity, and one that I'm completely committed to make this show, make this series in its original languages, the main one being Hungarian, but also German, Italian, Turkish, Serbian, gave me an opportunity to discover Hungarian actors, which was a revelation because I had never worked with them before. And the amazing wealth of talent in my country of birth was really, that was perhaps my biggest, my most memorable experience out of all this.
Okay.
But this is the story of, if Hemingway hadn't written For Whom the Bell Tolls, that's what this would be called, because that's really the story. Throughout the whole world, every day at noon in every church, the bell tolls. No one really knows why, but unless you Google it. But if you watch Rise of the Raven to the end, then you will know the bell tolls for Janusz Hunyadi because of his victory in the Battle of Belgrade against the invading Ottoman Empire. And that was the hook that I thought would be the bridge between this very geographically specific story in the rest of the world.
All right, that's all the time I have for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much for your time.
Thank you very much for your time and all the best for the series. I look forward to finishing it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.